Welcome to Historic Coins Vault, where every coin tells a story and every discovery could be worth a fortune. Today, we're diving into the rarest U.S. coins, some so valuable, collectors would pay a small fortune just to hold them. Stay with us, because what you're about to see might surprise even the most seasoned treasure hunters. Top 1. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about modern American coins, the 1967 Washington Quarter. At first glance, it looks like just another 25-cent piece you might find in pocket change. But hidden within certain examples of this coin are features so rare and fascinating that collectors across the country pay extremely serious money to own one. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. By 1967, America was going through a dramatic period in coin history. Just 2 years earlier, the U.S. Mint removed silver from circulating quarters. That means most 1967 quarters were struck in a copper-nickel clad composition instead of the traditional 90% silver used before 1965. Because of this transition, 1967 quarters represent an important turning point in American coinage. Unlike earlier quarters, the 1967 issue does not carry a mint mark. During the nationwide coin shortage of the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage collectors from hoarding coins. That small historical decision makes these coins unique compared to most other years in the Washington Quarter series. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington, facing left, with the word Liberty above and "In God We Trust" to the side. On the reverse, an eagle spreads its wings in a powerful display, clutching arrows and olive branches, a classic symbol of strength and peace. The design may look common, but some 1967 quarters are anything but ordinary. Now here's where things get exciting for serious collectors. While millions of these quarters were produced for circulation, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine, high-grade condition. Coins graded at the very top of the scale, with razor-sharp details, blazing luster, and virtually no marks, are incredibly difficult to find. Modern coins are often assumed to be easy to obtain in perfect shape, but that's not always true. Many 1967 quarters were heavily used, stored loosely, or mishandled over decades. Beyond condition, error coins are where the real magic happens. Some 1967 Washington quarters have been discovered with dramatic mint errors. These include, struck on wrong planchets, off-center strikes, double dies showing visible separation in lettering, clipped planchets, die cracks, and retained cuts, coins struck on leftover silver planchets intended for earlier years. A transitional error, such as a 1967 quarter mistakenly struck on a silver planchet, is especially thrilling. Since regular production had already moved to clad composition, finding a silver example dated 1967 would represent a remarkable mint mistake. Errors like this are rare because minting quality control is strict, and very few escape into circulation. Collectors treasure these mistakes because they tell a story of how coins are made, and how sometimes, even powerful institutions like the United States Mint can slip up. Each verified error coin is essentially one of a kind. High-grade certified examples also command strong premiums. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a detailed numeric scale, and a difference of just one grade point can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. A 1967 Washington Quarter graded at the absolute top tier with exceptional eye appeal becomes a trophy piece for registry set competitors. What makes this coin particularly interesting is the misconception surrounding it. Many people assume modern clad quarters have little value. That belief keeps rare high-grade or error examples hidden in collections, jars, and forgotten boxes. Sharp-eyed collectors who understand grading, strike quality, and mint errors are the ones who uncover treasures. Imagine checking an old roll of quarters and spotting something unusual, brighter luster, sharper strike, or strange doubling in the date. That single discovery could transform an ordinary coin into a centerpiece of a serious collection. And now for the moment every coin enthusiast waits for. While most 1967 Washington quarters are worth only face value or a modest premium in uncirculated condition, a truly exceptional specimen, such as a rare transitional silver strike or an ultra-high-grade certified example, has reached auction levels as high as $88,000, yes, from pocket change to a life-changing collector. Prize.so. Before you dismiss that 1967 quarter sitting in a drawer, take a closer look. Examine the edges. Study the strike. Search for doubling. Check the weight. Because in the world of numismatics, knowledge turns ordinary metal into extraordinary value. Top 2. We're diving into the 1969 Washington Quarter, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, yet holds the potential to shock collectors who truly understand what to look for. So coin lovers, listen very carefully, because this is where small details can mean big money. The Washington Quarter series has honored America's first president, George Washington, since 1932. By 1969, the United States Mint was fully producing clad coinage, following the removal of silver from circulating quarters in 1965. That means standard 1969 quarters are made from a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. To most people, that makes them common. But in the world of numismatics, common dates can still hide extraordinary rarities. In 1969, quarters were struck at different mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia in that era carried no mint mark, while Denver issues display a small D mint mark. At first glance, nothing seems unusual. Millions were minted, circulated heavily, and used in everyday transactions across America. But survival in top condition is a completely different story. Most 1969 quarters you find today show wear, flattened hair details on Washington's portrait, weak eagle feathers on the reverse, and dull surfaces from decades of handling. Finding one in blazing mint state condition, with sharp details and full luster, is far more difficult than people expect. High-grade examples certified at the very top levels are scarce because these coins were not saved in large numbers like earlier silver issues. Now let's talk about what truly excites collectors. Mint errors. Error coins are where the 1969 Washington Quarter becomes fascinating. Some pieces have been discovered with dramatic off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing but the date remains visible. Others show double die errors, where the lettering or date appears doubled due to a misalignment during die creation. Strong doubling that is visible without magnification can command serious premiums. There are also clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a cutting error at the mint. Die cracks and cuts sometimes appear, creating raised metal lines or blobs that make each piece unique. And then there are the rare transitional or wrong planchet errors, coins struck on metal intended for another denomination. These are incredibly scarce and highly desirable. Collectors treasure such mistakes because they represent moments when the minting process went wrong, and only a tiny number escaped into circulation. Each authenticated error tells a story of production, pressure, machinery, and human oversight. Another factor that drives value is eye appeal. A 1969 quarter with exceptional strike quality, booming luster, and virtually no contact marks can stand far above average examples. When graded by professional services and certified at elite levels, registry collectors compete fiercely for the finest known specimens. In the rarefied world of top population coins, even a modern clad quarter can become a trophy piece. Many people overlook 1969 quarters because they assume only old silver coins are valuable. That assumption keeps hidden gems sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, and bank rolls. Experienced collectors know that condition, rarity, and mint errors often matter more than age alone. Imagine discovering a sharply struck 1969 quarter with visible doubling in the lettering or a dramatic off-center strike that still shows a full date. That single coin could transform from pocket change into a centerpiece of a serious collection. And now comes the part every coin enthusiast waits for. While ordinary circulated examples are typically worth face value, and even nice uncirculated coins sell for modest premiums, a truly extraordinary specimen, such as a major mint error or a top-graded finest known example, has reached astonishing auction heights, with values climbing as high as $85,000, yes, from 25 cents to a life-changing collector prize. Top 3. We're uncovering the surprising story of the 1974 Washington Quarter, a coin most people ignore, but collectors quietly study with serious attention. At first glance, it's just another 25-cent piece from the 1970s. But under the right conditions, with the right details, this coin can become something extraordinary. the Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, has become one of the most collected coin designs in American history. By 1974, the United States Mint was producing clad coinage made from a copper core with nickel outer layers. Silver quarters were already a thing of the past in everyday circulation, which makes many people assume coins from the 1970s hold little value. That assumption, however, is exactly why rare examples slipped through unnoticed that in 1974, quarters were struck at multiple mint facilities. Philadelphia issues carry no mint mark, while Denver coins display a small D. San Francisco also produced proof versions for collectors. Millions upon millions were made. They were used in vending machines, grocery stores, arcades, and gas stations. Most were heavily circulated, acquiring scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details over time, but here's where things start to get interesting. Finding a 1974 quarter in exceptional mint state condition is much harder than people think. Coins that were not carefully saved often show contact marks from being stored in bags at the mint. Even uncirculated examples can have nicks and abrasions. A coin with blazing luster, razor-sharp strike, and virtually no imperfections becomes rare simply because so few survived untouched. Now let's talk about what truly excites collectors: mint errors. The 1974 Washington Quarter is known for several fascinating varieties and errors. One of the most talked about is the double die obverse, where the lettering and date show visible doubling caused by a misalignment during die creation. Strong doubling that can be seen clearly without heavy magnification dramatically increases desirability. There are also off-center strikes, where part of the coin design is missing but the date remains visible. These errors are especially valuable when the misalignment is dramatic yet still identifiable. Clipped planchets, where a curved piece of the coin is missing due to a cutting mistake, also command strong interest. Die cracks, cuts, and struck-through errors add another layer of intrigue. Some 1974 quarters have even been discovered struck on incorrect planchets intended for other denominations. These transitional or wrong metal errors are exceptionally rare and highly sought after because they represent mistakes that escaped strict mint quality control. Collectors appreciate these coins not just for their monetary value, but for the story they tell. Every error is a snapshot of a mechanical process gone slightly wrong, a tiny accident preserved in metal. That uniqueness makes each piece feel personal and irreplaceable. Another key factor driving value is professional grading. Coins certified at the very highest levels, those with pristine surfaces, full strike details in Washington's hair, and sharp eagle feathers on the reverse, become registry-quality coins. Advanced collectors compete fiercely for the finest known examples, and even a single grade point difference can mean thousands of dollars. Many people overlook 1974 quarters because they are relatively modern and made of clad metal. But in numismatics, rarity is not always about age. It's about survival, condition, demand, and uniqueness. A coin produced in large numbers can still become incredibly scarce at the highest quality levels. Imagine discovering a 1974 quarter in an old coin roll with mirror-like luster and strong doubling in the date. Or spotting an off-center strike that immediately stands out from ordinary change. Those small discoveries can transform everyday currency into a serious collector prize. Now for the part you've been waiting for. While most circulated 1974 Washington quarters are worth face value, and even many uncirculated examples sell for modest premiums, a truly remarkable specimen, such as a dramatic double die error or an elite, finest known certified example, has achieved auction prices reaching as high as $82,000, from a simple 25-cent coin to a headline. Making collectible. Top 4. We're uncovering the fascinating story of the 1981 Washington Quarter, a coin that many people overlook, yet collectors study with sharp eyes and serious excitement. It may look like simple pocket change, but under the right circumstances, this coin can become a remarkable prize. The Washington Quarter, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington, has been a cornerstone of American coinage for decades. By 1981, the United States Mint was well into the clad era, producing quarters with a copper core layered between nickel surfaces. Silver was long gone from circulation, and by this time, many Americans had stopped paying attention to the details of their change. In 1981, quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, while San Francisco produced proof coins for collectors. Interestingly, 1981 is known as a low mintage year compared to many other modern quarters. Fewer coins were produced for circulation than in surrounding years, which immediately makes collectors take notice, but mintage numbers are only part of the story. Most 1981 quarters were heavily circulated. They passed through vending machines, grocery stores, parking meters, and cash registers. Over time, the majority developed wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. Finding a high-grade, uncirculated 1981 quarter with full luster and sharp details is far more difficult than people expect. Coins stored improperly often developed contact marks, even if they were never officially circulated. Now here's where things become truly exciting for collectors: mint errors and condition rarity. Some 1981 quarters display double die characteristics, where letters or numbers show noticeable separation due to die misalignment during production. Strong doubling in the date or inscriptions can dramatically increase a coin's desirability. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks that create raised lines or unusual metal formations. Occasionally, coins are discovered with striking errors such as broad strikes or partial collar errors, which change the coin's shape slightly. These unusual features make each piece unique, and collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for dramatic examples that are authenticated and certified. Condition plays an even larger role with 1981 quarters. Because fewer were saved in pristine condition, examples graded at the very highest mint state levels are scarce. A coin with blazing mint luster, crisp details in Washington's hair, and sharp eagle feather definition on the reverse can stand far above the average example. Registry collectors compete fiercely for the finest known specimens, driving values much higher than most people imagine possible for a modern clad coin. Proof coins from San Francisco also deserve attention. Some proof examples show cameo or deep cameo contrast, where the frosted design stands out beautifully against mirror-like fields. Exceptional proof coins free from haze or imperfections can be especially appealing to advanced collectors. What makes the 1981 Washington quarter so interesting is that many people assume coins from the 1980s are too modern to hold serious value. That assumption often leaves rare high-grade examples hidden in coin jars, old collections, or forgotten bank rolls. Knowledgeable collectors understand that survival rate, not just mintage, determines true rarity. Imagine discovering a nearly flawless 1981 quarter tucked away in an old mint set, still shining with its original brilliance. Or spotting unusual doubling in the lettering that others might miss. These are the moments that turn ordinary change into something extraordinary. And now for the part you've been waiting for. While most 1981 Washington quarters are worth face value or a modest premium in average condition, a truly exceptional piece, such as a dramatic mint error or a top-graded finest known specimen, has reached astonishing auction levels, climbing as high as $80,000. Yes. A simple quarter from 1981 could represent an incredible opportunity for the sharp-eyed collector. Before you overlook that coin dated 1981, take a closer look. Examine the surfaces under good lighting. Check for doubling, unusual strike patterns, and exceptional luster. Because sometimes the most surprising treasures are hiding in the years people ignore. Top 5. We're uncovering the surprising story of the 1982 Washington quarter, a coin that many people spend without a second thought, yet collectors quietly search for with serious excitement. At first glance, it seems ordinary. But under the right conditions, this quarter can become one of the most fascinating modern coins in American numismatics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor America's first president, George Washington. For decades, it has remained one of the most recognized coin designs in the United States. By 1982, the quarter was firmly part of the clad coinage era, made with a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. Silver was long gone from circulation, and most people believed modern coins held little collectible value, but 1982 is not just another year. One of the most important details about 1982 quarters is that the United States Mint did not produce official uncirculated mint sets for collectors that year. That decision had a major impact. Because there were no government-issued mint sets preserved in protective packaging, far fewer pristine examples were saved compared to surrounding years. This makes high-grade 1982 quarters significantly harder to find than many people realize. Quarters were struck in Philadelphia and Denver for circulation. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while Denver pieces carry a small D. Millions were produced and released directly into circulation. They went straight into commerce, vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores, and most were heavily used. As a result, finding one today with sharp details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks is surprisingly difficult. Condition rarity is where this coin truly shines for collectors. A 1982 quarter graded at the highest mint state levels is scarce because so few survived without wear or bag marks. Coins with crisp hair detail on Washington's portrait and sharp eagle feather definition on the reverse become highly desirable at top grades. Registry collectors compete intensely for the finest known specimens, pushing values far beyond what most people expect from a modern clad coin. Now let's talk about mint errors, because this is where excitement really builds. Some 1982 Washington quarters have been discovered with double die features, where parts of the lettering or date show visible separation due to die misalignment. Strong, noticeable doubling can dramatically increase collector demand. There are also off-center strikes that shift the design away from the center while still keeping the date visible, a key factor for value. Clipped planchets are another fascinating error type, where a curved portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake during the metal blank cutting process. Die cracks, cuts, and even broad strikes without a proper collar can create unusual shapes and raised metal features that make each piece unique. These mint mistakes represent rare moments when production at the mint didn't go perfectly, and collectors love coins that tell that story. Because 1982 coins were not widely saved in perfect condition, combining a major mint error with high-grade preservation creates an especially rare situation. That combination can transform an everyday quarter into a serious collector's trophy. Many people assume that only old silver coins or ancient pieces can be valuable. But modern coins like the 1982 Washington quarter prove that rarity is not only about age, it's about survival, condition, and uniqueness. The right coin, authenticated and graded at the highest level, can surprise even experienced collectors. Imagine searching through an old coin jar and finding a bright, sharply struck 1982 quarter with blazing luster and no visible wear. Or spotting strong doubling in the date that others might overlook. Those small details can make an enormous difference. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. While most 1982 Washington quarters are worth face value or only a small premium in average condition, a truly exceptional specimen, such as a top-graded finest known example or a dramatic authenticated mint error, has reached astonishing auction heights, climbing as high as $80,000. Yes. A simple quarter from 1982 could represent an incredible hidden opportunity. So before you spend that coin without looking, take a closer inspection. Check the mint mark. Study the details under strong light. Look for doubling, unusual strikes, and exceptional surface quality. Because in coin collecting, knowledge transforms ordinary pocket change into extraordinary treasure. Keep searching, stay curious, and enjoy the thrill of discovering what others might miss.